Hey everyone, Ben here, co-founder of Curious Addies, and a lot of you have asked us how to actually buy a Curious Addy, because you might want to be part of our community and also get access to the Nas Academy videos for free, right? And so it's kind of a win-win to be able to do both just by buying an NFT, and the catch-22 is, that's the material we cover in the course, right? And so for a lot of you, it's quite difficult to figure out how do you actually get started? How do you actually go ahead and get an NFT in the first place? So I figured we'd make this video as a sneak peek of the kind of content that we're going to cover in the course. And I'm going to break this down really simply into two parts. The first part is going to go very quickly. It's going to take just a couple of minutes, and I'm going to walk through all the technical steps of what you need to do to buy a Curious Addy, but I'm not going to explain them. And then, if you already have some experience, if you can figure it out, then you're welcome to just go ahead, and do just what I've shown you in the first few minutes. But then I'm going to actually take my time and walk through each part of what I'm doing and explain it step by step if you're new to this and you haven't done any of these things, you haven't touched crypto or Metamask or OpenSea or NFTs or any of these weird terms, right? And so that way, if you already know a little bit about what you're doing, then feel free to just watch the first few minutes and you're good to go. Otherwise, stay tuned and I'll explain everything in more detail. So the first thing you need is Metamask. You can use a lot of different wallets out there. These are non-custodial wallets. That means that you own everything yourself and you're responsible. You're kind of your own bank. And MetaMask is the original, the most kind of common one that people still use today. It's good. I like it. You can install for which browser you want. I have it for Chrome, so you just go to Chrome Store. I already have it. If you don't have it, it's going to walk you through kind of the steps of how to get started there. And then the second thing you want to do is go buy some crypto that you can actually send to your wallet. And so I use Coinbase because it's kind of the biggest exchange, most secure kind of exchange in America. Works great over here. Make sure you get your password right. And Coinbase is actually not the cheapest way, right? What you need is to get Ethereum, which is the currency that most of the NFTs today kind of live on and work with. And so you could buy it here directly, but it's going to charge you a lot in fees, right? If you were to buy, let's say, right now, let's go take a look at the cheapest Curious Addy. I think it's still pretty affordable right now. So if you go to collection, you're going to go to OpenSea.io/collection.catc. Right here, you can see this one is going to be about $300, and you're going to need some extra for gas fees. So about 350 is roughly what you need. And so if we were to buy 350 here and we go to Ethereum, we would see this is going to cost us something like, let's see, $5.14. Okay, not the worst thing in the world, but you can do a lot better if you just go Coinbase Pro. And so pro.coinbase.com. If you ever have a Coinbase account, you have pro.coinbase.com account. And so here you can just go to your ETH USD right here. And then what you would do is you would just click deposit, and then you'll be able to send this money over. So if I had US dollars right here, I would click deposit, 350, and then click deposit. You're good to go. You'll go through this, and then you would just do a market buy right here. And you can see the fee is $1.23. So you saved a lot of money by doing that. Anyway, and then what you would do is just withdraw once you've done that buy. And so I already have some money in here. I'm just going to go and withdraw what I need, right? And so it looks like 0.0076 to get this one. And I want a little bit more just to be careful with gas. And so, it's safe to transfer about 0.1, let's just say. And so I'm going to transfer to my Metamask wallet, which is right over here. And so this one, I already actually have enough money in here, but you would just click copy right there, get that address. And here I actually have these whitelisted, but the good news is I already have the address in here. I'll just type 0.1. And then it's going to cost me a little bit in network fees to transfer right now, but fees are pretty low. So that's going to be $4.52. Perfect. Awesome. Click withdraw. That money is going to come over into your MetaMask address in like 30 seconds. It's very quick. You just type in your two-step verification code. Awesome. Cool. So now you have your MetaMask set up. You got your Coinbase Pro. Money sent over, and then you can just go to Curious Addy's Trading Club on OpenSea. Be careful here because a lot of people are going to try to scam you. So if you actually type in Curious Addy's Trading Club, it actually shows you this scam collection. This is not the right one. You can see this is just 35 items, 76 owners. Very, very bad. Do not get scammed by this. And instead, the safest way to do it is just to actually go to our website and click the trusted link right here. So awesome. That's going to take you to the right place. And then you can see, all right, you can just pick whichever one you like. This one's really cute. It's sad and crying. It's a little bit more, but all good. Click confirm checkout, and then you're going to end up here, and it's going to say, okay, it's going to cost you this much in fees. You can change this to be a little lower, and so I'll explain gas fees in the course and all of that. Right now, we don't need to really go ahead and do that. You click confirm. Okay, you've just purchased 3560. You check out the transaction hash right over here, and it's going to cost me a total of a little bit less than it actually says in gas fees right here. That's the maximum gas fee it's going to charge me, but it's actually going to use a little bit less in gas. So this will come out to a total of, let's see, the actual base gas is 35. So it's going to cost me less in gas in the price I'm paying for gas and also in the amount of gas that's used. These are all very technical things that we're going to explain in just a few minutes here shortly, and then we'll explain more in the actual course. So it's going to cost me a little bit less than 0.09 ETH total. Cool. Awesome. And we should see this go through shortly. Nope, gas just rose. Anyway. Okay, so you know what? I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to show you something that's called, oh, actually, it already went through. Perfect. Awesome. Okay. So Etherscan is just being slow. But if I go back now, I'll see it says it's owned by me. And if I go to my profile right here, we can see a bunch of the other NFTs I've owned. But here's the last one right here. Yay. Awesome. Cool. So here, if we take a look at the transaction, we can see, oh, wow, Etherscan is really being slow. All right. Doesn't really matter. Yeah, you got your NFT and you're good to go. That's all there is to it. So that was a lot of stuff. If you don't understand any of this, if you haven't kind of talked through any of this before, walked through it, then I imagine this is very confusing. But if you have, maybe this was enough. Now let's go back and let's actually explain all the different steps. And let's actually start from the very beginning with Metamask. And we'll show you exactly what it means and why you need this. And so first, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to open Chrome Beta. And this is the same thing as Chrome. It's just somewhere where I haven't actually installed a MetaMask wallet before, so I can go through the whole process. So first you click install for Chrome, Firefox, whichever browser you use, it's all the same. Click add extension, and then over here you're going to see this extension pops up, and if it doesn't actually pin itself, you can just click this little pin button right here, and then you have MetaMask. And so MetaMask is what's known as a wallet, a cryptocurrency wallet. And what is a cryptocurrency wallet? Well, it's what a physical wallet kind of is, right? It's a place where you can put currency, money. And so in your physical wallet, you know, you put your US dollars, right? And that's yours, right? It's yours in a way that's different from when you have money in the bank, right? Because when you have money in the bank, you don't really hold that money, right? That's not really your money. It's the bank that's holding that money for you. And then they just say, oh yeah, you know, we have a record of how much money we're holding on your behalf, and you're welcome to take that from us whenever you want, right? But like, you know, banks actually do fail. This was a huge thing in the Great Depression, right? Banks went like down because they actually have something called fractional reserve banking, where they don't actually keep all your money on hand. And so, you know, you like go to bank and they only have like, you know, 2% of all customer deposits on hand. If more than 2% of people try to get money out of that bank, then they run out of money and then the bank collapses and everyone panics and then it's the whole banking system fails, right? That was literally the Great Depression. But, you know, if you have that money in your own wallet, right, or a safe deposit box at home or something like that, right, like, you know, that is literally yours. You have 100% of all that money, and you own it completely yourself. And so that's actually the same concept that cryptocurrency kind of allows you to do when you have something like MetaMask or another non-custodial wallet, something that you own fully. You literally have all the currency and you control it and no one can take it away from you, right? Which is a very unusual concept in the digital world today, because Normally, you go to something like chase.com, right? And like Chase is your bank and they own your money, right? And this is the only way that you can typically transact online today is using a bank that owns the money for you. And then they just say, oh yeah, here's a credit card. You can use this credit card online. And don't worry, we'll debit money. We'll like do all the stuff for you. But then with, Coinbase, that's the same kind of concept for cryptocurrency, right? And so this is where you kind of buy and sell. But if you leave your money in Coinbase, you don't really own that money, strictly speaking, right? Coinbase actually is keeping that currency for you. And then whenever you want it, they're like, oh yeah, you're welcome to take it. But we're just going to keep it here for you for safekeeping. You can't actually use Coinbase directly to buy NFTs and things like that because NFTs are like a piece of artwork, right? And so if you think of it as a physical artwork, the bank isn't going to hold artwork for you, right? And so you need a place where you can store the artwork inside your own home, right? And so the artwork belongs in your own home, all of that. That's basically the same concept with Metamask. It's your own wallet, right? It's your own kind of location where you can store all the assets and actually own them yourself. In the future, this will change. Coinbase is coming up with a NFT kind of platform. There's FTX, they have an NFT platform. So all these centralized exchanges that are the analog of like banks, right, in the real world for real fiat currency like the US dollar and so forth, those new platforms on Coinbase and FTX, they will actually keep the artwork, the NFTs for you on your behalf. And they'll just say, it's there's this thing called like the Geneva Freeport in the art world, right? And that's this place in Geneva where they literally just keep everyone's art because no one actually wants the hassle of like, protecting their own art if they're buying it as an investment, right? If they don't actually want to appreciate their art. And so there's just this giant warehouse that like keeps everyone's art, right? And that's essentially the same thing that like Coinbase NFT or FTX NFT will become, right? Is just this place where they kind of keep all your art on your behalf, but you don't really own it. But today, they don't have those services yet because NFTs are so new. And so you do have to own the art yourself. So anyway, that's why you need MetaMask. And let's go ahead. Let's go set it up. If you go here, you click MetaMask. You can either import a secret recovery phrase if you ever have one or create a new one. So we'll go through. We're going to create a new wallet and you can say no thanks here. Create a password here. Make sure this is pretty secure. This password isn't actually... this will let you access your account through MetaMask directly, but it's not actually the same thing as your secret recovery phrase. And so watch this video. This is going to explain to you what your secret recovery phrase is, right? And so, okay, on traditional websites, central database, bank is responsible for controlling your money. Pretty much the same thing I said. Whoever owns the key is the one who owns your money and so forth. And so basically, there are two concepts when you have a wallet, and this is why it's called cryptocurrency. It uses what's called public-private key encryption, and that's the crypto in cryptocurrency, right? Is cryptography, the kind of study of encryption and keeping data in a format where only someone who has a secret piece of information can access it. And that's how cryptocurrency wallets work and how the entire concept of cryptocurrency works is you have what's known as a private key and a public key. And a private key is what it sounds like. It's private. You should definitely keep that for yourself. And that's like, you can think of it as the key to your house, right? And so, in your house, you open the door with a little key and you don't want to give that key to anyone else because if you give it to anyone else, they can come in your house and steal everything in your house, right? So that's no bueno. Keep that key for yourself. The private key is private. The public key, on the other hand, is public. And that is actually, what you give to other people. You can think of it as your mailing address. It's what you give to other people so that they can identify you and send you mail or come to your house, right? Know where you live and send you things like your email address, your mailing address, and now it's your public address for your cryptocurrency wallet. And so never give your private key to anyone else. And in the MetaMask flow, in many flows now, the private key actually looks like this giant alphanumeric hash, right? It's just something like, 0x, like this giant thing, right? And so with this giant screen, it's very, very hard for people to kind of remember it. And so what MetaMask kind of came up with and many other pieces of software is a mnemonic phrase, which is a 12 or 24 word phrase. And if we go here, we can see it. Never show this to anyone else, by the way. This is not a wallet that I'm actually going to use, so I'm just showing it to you. But this phrase will actually be able to be hashed down into your private key. You can think of this as exactly the same thing as your private key. If anyone is able to get these 12 words, they can derive the key to your house, and in this case, your cryptocurrency wallet, and take all the funds from you. So never, ever, ever, ever give anyone this private key. Just as it says here, right? Never disclose this private key. Anyone with this phrase can take your ether forever. However, you also don't want to lose this private key, right? Now, if you lose the secret recovery phrase, this seed phrase, then it's like losing the key to your house. And if you lose the key to your house, in the real world, you typically can like break down the door, right? Climb through a window, like, get a locksmith to change out the lock, whatever, lock pick it. There are a lot of ways to kind of get around it. In this world with cryptography, the encryption that is used here, it's basically impossible known to humans today and computers. Any way to kind of remotely feasibly crack a private key and get your money if you lose your private key. So if you lose your private key / secret recovery phrase, you will never be able to ever get your money and you will lose everything. Okay, so that's kind of the flip side of being your own bank, is that you are responsible for keeping your own money safe. So this is very, very important. And so in a case like this, people generally recommend that you store this in somewhere pretty secure, like 1Pass or LastPass, or an encrypted file upload to iCloud or Dropbox or something like that. That is still not the most secure option. The most secure option is you use what's called a hardware wallet, like a Ledger or Trezor, and then you store your secret recovery phrase completely disconnected from the internet. And the reason for that is because anything that's connected to the internet can be hacked, right? Anyone in the world could theoretically connect to you if your computer or your cloud storage provider is, networked into other devices. And when that happens, they might be able to steal your secret recovery phrase, steal all your money. And so this isn't the best amount of security. In fact, Metamask directly is not the best amount of security that you can have when you're trying to be your own bank. But it's a compromise between kind of convenience getting started and ultimate security, right? And so this is pretty good when you're dealing with thousands of dollars, right? But when you start getting into tens of thousands of dollars or more, I highly, highly recommend that you get a Ledger or a Trezor. These are the two most popular hardware wallets. And we'll talk more about this in the course. It's kind of outside the scope of this. Long story short, these things make sure that your seed phrase, your secret recovery phrase, your private key, those things never are ever in contact with the internet, so no one can ever hack your money through the internet. It only ever lives on this little hardware device, and then the hardware device sends what's known as a signature to approve transactions over to your computer, which is compromised directly, right? It's hot because it touches the internet. So anyway, a lot of stuff to go through there. But let's go in, let's click next right here, and you're going to have to actually go ahead and confirm your secret recovery phrase here. So you'll want to do something like actually save this. They just want to see that you've actually saved this, The safest way you could do it is a piece of paper and then keep it in like, a deposit box that no one else is going to find and so forth. Definitely don't do what I'm doing here, which is just, copy it into your URL window just so you can get to the next step. This is the worst thing that you could possibly do. Under no circumstances should you not actually save this somewhere, because if you lose this and you lose your computer or something like that, then you also lose all your money. There's no way that you can ever get your money again. But now we're in here. Now we have an account. This is great. And then right here, you can see if you hover over account 1, you can click copy to clipboard, and that's going to give you this giant little hash, which no one can memorize, but this is your public address. And in the future, you can think of this as kind of like an IP address, right? So if you actually know this concept, you can hoise any kind of like website, right? If I go to this and I type in google.com, whoops, no, this actually is not going to give me the IP address for Google. Find IP address for Google. Let's see. No, anyway. Long story short, what I'm trying to explain to you, which is not actually working for me because I haven't thought this through clearly enough, is that in the beginning of time, actually, websites were just IP addresses. And in fact, now a lot of websites share the same IP address, so this doesn't really work that well. But, if you type, what is my IP, and you get this, right? This is actually basically a way for people to know who I am and contact me on the internet. But, like, no one can remember these long little strings in the past, and so what they ultimately end up doing is now you can just do something like go to google.com, and this will actually resolve to an IP address. And so resolve a domain name to an IP address. I actually wonder if I can figure this out, how domain name is translated to an IP address. Can use right at catch point is Anyway, long story short, what I'm trying to say here is that these are essentially like IP addresses. They're extremely, extremely hard to understand and comprehend for humans. And in the future, or even right now, in fact, what we have is, if I go to etherscan.io, you can just type in something like benu.eth. And this is going to resolve to a specific address for me. And so if you go here, you can see, oh, this is me. Awesome, cool. Benu.eth equals this thing. And so we are coming out with the idea of kind of domain names for your public address so that people can identify you easily. But when you get started, you're just going to have this. This is what you do to go over to Coinbase.com. And so now let's talk about the next step. Now that you have your own wallet, you can go here. You see that your account is active, everything's good. You need to send some money here so that you can actually buy a NFT. And so then you have to go to Coinbase or some other exchange in the world, right? There's Binance is a good one. If you're somewhere outside America, crypto.com is another good one if you're outside America, or okcoin.com. Inside America, Coinbase is basically the best. No reason to really use anything else. And so you can just sign up right here, type in your email and all of that. It's going to ask you to verify some information. You go through that whole process, and at some point you'll have a Coinbase account. And then you can just sign into Coinbase, right? And then once you sign into Coinbase, it's going to, in here, I'll just go back to my main normal screen. It's going to let you buy and sell Ethereum. And so this is the easiest way to do it. And I'd recommend you just buy, 0.1 Ethereum just to be safe. And so that comes out to roughly $400 or so, right? If you wanted to buy, this is very, very simple. It's all good. You can just click buy, and then you hook up your, bank account, and it's going to let you buy. And then there's one catch, is that it will actually take you about a week to send this money out from Coinbase if you use your bank account, because it's going to try to pull that money from your bank account. And it's going to let you instantly buy Ethereum at the current price today, but it's not going to let you send it out until it actually gets the money from your bank, which takes like 3 to 5 days in the ACH world. If you want to get around that, actually right here, I can send the full amount instantly. Under maybe $400, if your account's been a little bit older, I think it lets you actually send. But if you wanted to buy immediately, you would need to do a wire transfer here. And so that is a little bit more involved. That will cost more money. Typically $25 from your bank or $20 from your bank, and then $10 from the side of Coinbase. And so not really recommended. Feel free to take your time. If you're actually looking to get into the Nas Academy course, you do still have some time. That course goes live in the beginning of January, right? And so if you have an NFT before January starts, you're good to go. We'll have instructions for anyone to how to, sign up for that course for free. And so just go ahead, use your bank account. You're all good. No worries there. But now I'm going to show you pro.coinbase.com, because Coinbase, again, charges you a lot more in fees, especially if you're doing really small transactions. If you're doing something like $50, it's going to charge you actually $1.99. And that doesn't seem like too much money, right? But if you actually do the math on that, that comes out to a 4% fee, which is a lot. It's a pretty nuts amount, especially when you're doing a lot of transactions. If you're buying, every single day, selling, and so forth, you're losing a lot of money. And so what you can do instead is you can go to pro.coinbase.com, and it's exactly the same thing. It's just a little bit more involved looking, and so it looks a little bit more advanced. But here they're going to only charge you a 0.5% fee. And so that is going to save you 8 times over a 4% fee, right? And even in the case where we were buying a larger amount, so Coinbase charges you a little bit less in fees. If you're buying like $500, right, it charges you, or $400, it was charging you like $5.30 in fees. Here, it was only going to charge me something like $1 and so in fees, right? And so if I were to go ahead, what I would do here is exactly the same thing. I would go to ETH-USD. Now I would click deposit, and then I'm going to deposit my US dollars. And this is also instant, right? If I'm using a bank account, you can see I can transfer up to $35,000 every day instantly. I'm not going to be able to take it out for maybe, let's see how many days. Oh, yeah, I'm not going to be able to take it out for 7 days, but I can trade my USD instantly while they wait for the funds to come through. And so that's pretty cool. Awesome. Great. And then you click deposit USD. That money is going to come directly into here. And then you can just go ahead and you can do a market buy. You can do a limit, stop. We'll explain all of that in the course. That's kind of outside the scope of this as well. But here you can see my fees are a little bit lower than what you would actually pay because I've already done enough trading volume. I'm at the 0.35% fee tier. But, even at the 0.5% tier, you're only going to be charged $2 here, right, as a fee. And so that's a lot less, right? You're saving over twice the amount of money compared to if you were to buy directly on Coinbase. So I typically do everything on pro.coinbase.com because it's exactly the same thing, except it's a lot cheaper. So then once you have that money here, remember, it's like Coinbase is your bank, right? They hold that money for you, but you can't actually use it for, buying things like you would, your cash in your wallet, right? You can't actually take the dollar bills and go places and buy a cup of coffee and whatnot. And so in order to actually use your cryptocurrency to go buy things like NFTs, you're going to need to transfer that cryptocurrency from Coinbase over to your own account. And so right here, I'm going to go ahead and actually transfer about 0.1 ETH, right? And so, whoops, if I go and click withdraw, in fact, and I transfer 0.1 ETH over to my Metamask account and click withdraw, this is going to charge me about, $5. And that's because Ethereum is fairly expensive to use right now because a lot of people are using Ethereum. And we'll explain more about, why that is, why there's such a large fee with this, and why that's actually not a concern about a year from now. That's all going to change, and Ethereum should become extremely cheap because of something called proof of stake. But again, outside the scope of this, we'll explain all of that in the course. But for now, we're just going to go ahead, type in your verification code, bloop, take the money out here, and it's going to say withdrawal has started. Once it's initiated, your funds should arrive in 35 network confirmations. Cool, awesome. So actually, if we go here, we'll be able to probably see that this number is going to go up to 0.4648 ETH fairly soon. And so if I actually go to my account over at Etherscan, let's take a look. Okay, perfect. We can see there is, in fact, a pending transfer right over here from Coinbase to us. And that is going to go through in just a few seconds once their earlier transactions actually go through. Okay, perfect. Awesome. It went through. So now you can see I got my money. Doesn't take that long. So just takes about a minute to transfer money here. Really, really fantastic with Coinbase. Now that I have that cash, again, you want to go to CuriousAddies.com and you're going to click buy on OpenSea. And so what is OpenSea? OpenSea is a NFT exchange, and it's kind of a decentralized exchange in the sense that all of the stuff that you're buying and selling here is controlled by what's known as a smart contract, just a piece of code. And so this is not kind of like Coinbase in the sense that Coinbase is a bank, right? They own all your money, they're transferring back and forth. Here, it's just an interface to kind of make a peer-to-peer marketplace where you're buying and selling with other people, random people anywhere in the world. And they can list this thing and then you can buy it from them directly. And OpenSea kind of just facilitates that transaction. So pretty cool stuff that's actually going on here. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to buy this one. This looks cute. Okay, so now if you just go over, remember you go to curiousaddies.com, you click buy on OpenSea, you're going to find yourself at the OpenSea site, and then you can do this. You can filter by buy now, and you can see right now there are 380 Curious Addies left for sale, right, that you can buy. And so these are the ones that people have listed that they're willing to sell. And you can just sort by price low to high and find the lowest one. In the course, we can explain to you how to actually pick the right NFT that you might want to buy. And there are a couple of different considerations that can go into that, right? There's finding something that you visually like, right? But then there's also rarity, right? And then there's like some, NFTs have special attributes that might give you special benefits, right? Things like that. There are a lot of things that go into the general consideration of what to buy, but typically it's actually a fairly safe bet to just buy one of the cheapest ones. If all you want is the base utility of being in the community, having a membership to the community, and also, getting access to the Nas Academy course, all of that stuff, right? And so here we can just click buy this one right here, and we can see it costs 0.076 ETH. And so perfect. We can just click buy now and click confirm checkout. And what it's going to do is actually want to connect to my wallet. And so right here, I'm already connected. I'm going to go ahead and just remove this so that you can see the whole step from scratch. And so let's see. What I want to do is remove OpenSea. Cool. Disconnect. Now if I go back here and I click buy now, it's going to say, okay, cool. Whoops. Now it's connected to my treasure wallet. I have to disconnect all my wallets, actually. Okay, cool. This is connected. Let's disconnect that as well. Remove account. Oh, crap. That was a mistake. Whoops. I actually just removed the account. Oh, well. What can you do? Let's go ahead and delete that. Cool. All right. So now you can see it's going to say, hey, you need to connect your wallet first, right? To be able to actually buy. And so you click Metamask here because that's what you're using. And then you connect the account that you want to actually use. And so you'll typically just have one account to start. Pretty straightforward. This allows Metamask to actually know which wallet you want to use, right? To actually buy with. And so here it says, okay, cool. You got good funds. You're good to go. I click buy now. If you didn't have enough money, it would say, you need more money. In this case, it knows I have enough money. So then it's going to pop up this screen on MetaMask that is actually going to ask me to confirm this transaction. And here you're going to see a couple things. This is very important. And so first is the amount that you're paying for the NFT, which is 0.076 ETH, right? But then it's also going to actually charge you a gas fee. And so what is gas? Well, gas is, the same thing as kind of that transaction fee that we got charged when we sent money from Coinbase to ourselves, right? To go ahead and, buy this in the first place. Gas is a concept of what you have to pay to be able to do transactions on the Ethereum blockchain. And so, there's more explanation that goes into this, but the Ethereum blockchain, you can think of it as kind of a global decentralized computer, right? It's one computer shared by everyone in the world, and everyone can use it to do whatever they want, like buy NFTs or, transfer money to each other and so many other things, right? But it's a scarce resource and it takes meaningful work for people to actually do transactions like this. And so you can think of gas just like you can think of gas in your car. If you are driving from, say, Chicago to New York, right, you're going to have to pay gas to do so because you're doing useful work, right? The car is actually moving you from Chicago to New York. That's actually like meaningful work that it's doing, and it takes energy to do so and so forth, right? Here, you're also paying people to do meaningful work for you. Basically, you're paying the Ethereum blockchain and the miners who go ahead and secure the Ethereum blockchain to kind of do this computation for you, where this is kind of computer logic that's happening, right? It's you're sending a transaction that says, hey, please take my money, put it into escrow, and then take this NFT and then put it into escrow, and then transfer this NFT to me in exchange for transferring this money to the person who's selling it, right? That's a very complex kind of transaction. And so it costs a fair bit of money for two reasons. And if you click edit here, you can see this fee has changed. Like the Ethereum gas fees are very volatile. They change about every 10 seconds or so. And so you don't have to pay the current going rate for gas. This is a very important concept to understand. If you go here, what does this say? Insufficient funds. That's definitely not true. Anyway, so if you go here, you can see the max fee, and you know what? It's actually going to show you if you haven't done what I have done here, which is I have advanced gas settings set up, so I can just go straight into editing my gas. This will walk through in so much more detail. This kind of gives you a teaser of how kind of complex all of this stuff is and how difficult it is to get started. And so really, yeah, this hopefully gives you an idea of how much depth there is to learn in this course just to get started. But, you know, if you're going to go and you click edit right here, it's going to show you this as the default, right? And you can see that the numbers don't really change much here. It's like a few cents of difference between low, medium, and high. That's not really so great. And so what you really want to do is click into advanced options. And then here you're going to be able to see the gas limit. Now that's the total amount of gas that you're using. And you can think of that as the amount of gas, the gallons of gas you're putting in your gas tank when you're going on a transaction, right? Or the liters of gas, depending on where you are in the world. And then you can see the max fee for gas that you're paying. And so never change the gas limit, because that is equivalent to, you know, if you have a road trip from Chicago to New York that you're doing. In that road trip, that's, let's say, going to take 500 miles and your car can do 50 miles per gallon. You're going to need 10 gallons of gas, right, to make that trip happen. You should not shorten that. You should not try to say, hey, that's a lot of gas. You know, I'm not willing to go ahead and, you know, spend 10 gallons of gas to drive from Chicago to New York. You know what? I'm just going to fill up to 5 gallons and then make this trip. You know, that doesn't really make sense, right? Because you can't like change the laws of physics, right? Like if it takes 10 gallons of gas in your car to drive from Chicago to New York, you can't just say, you know what? No, I'm going to just take 5 gallons of gas. You're going to end up in like stranded in West Virginia, right? And then you're going to be screwed. And in real life, you know, you would just like learn the error of your ways and you would like buy more gas and then like go on to New York. But in Ethereum, it doesn't work that way. The gas limit is exactly the same thing. The amount of gas it takes to do a given computation is fixed. You can't change it. It's non-negotiable, right? If it takes 500 miles to drive from Chicago to New York, then it takes 500 miles, right? That's just fundamentally how much it takes. It's the same thing when it comes to kind of the gas that a given transaction takes, right? This is a complex transaction. It's going to take a lot of gas, right, to do this whole exchange of NFTs and transfer and all this escrow and all this stuff, right? And so it's going to take over 200,000 units of gas. There's nothing you can do to change that. But don't worry. Just like if you were to, you know, fill up your gas tank with, you know, you're like, okay, I calculated out, it's going to take me 10 gallons of gas, I think. But I'm really worried because that's like the exact number, right? And so like if you just took 10 gallons of gas, maybe you get stuck in traffic, right? There's a traffic jam or like there's a really large hill that you didn't anticipate or mountain or whatever. And like it takes more gas, right? Then you might fall short, right? Maybe actually it takes 11 gallons of gas, right? Because of unexpected things, right? Maybe you have a pit stop, whatever. But like if you just took 10 gallons of gas, there's a real risk that you're going to fall short and like end up like 50 miles away from like New York and not be able to make the distance, right? And so what's much better is if you actually buy like 12 gallons of gas, right? Give yourself a little margin of error to make that trip. And if you go ahead and do that, then chances are you're going to make it. And if you have any gas left over, it's not a waste, right? Because you can use that gas for next trip. That's the same thing with the gas limit. You can use any gas. If you put this higher, never put this lower. Never, ever change this lower. But you can change it higher. If you change it higher, it's okay. It's not going to cost you more money because it's just saying, hey, the maximum amount of gas I'm willing to spend on this transaction can be higher. But if you don't need that much gas, it's just going to refund the rest of the amount that you said you're willing to pay back to you. And so that's okay to put that higher. The thing that you should change is the max fee per gas. This is equivalent to the price per gallon of gas that you pay at the gas stop, right? You know, you go to a gas station and it's like $6 per gas, like it is right now. It's like truly insane in some places like California. And you're like, screw that. That's like totally insane. I am only willing to pay $3 a gallon for gas. So I'm going to come back on like a Tuesday when no one else is like, it's Saturday right now, right? Everyone is trying to buy gas. I'm going to come back when no one is trying to buy gas on Tuesday, and maybe the price will be like, just $4 a gallon or something like that, right? Or $3 a gallon. And it's going to cost you to go the same distance. If you pay $3 a gallon, right, versus $6 a gallon, it's going to cost you half as much money to go that distance. And so that is what you can change to save you money, is the max fee you're willing to pay per gas. And you can put this down to like 45. And now it says, the maximum you're going to pay is 62.46. And you can click confirm here. Boom, this goes through. And then now I wait, okay? And so this is going to take a while to go through because I was very cheap with gas. We can see the going rate for gas right now is 68 gwei. And so it's not 45. Like this is saying it's like, let's just imagine this is like $6.80 per gallon of gas is essentially what this is saying, right? That's the amount that you have to pay at the gas station right now. And just, there's like one price for gas all around the world, right? It's all the same. There's one gas station, and it's like right now gas is $7, right, per gallon. So, if you say, hey, I'm only willing to pay $4.5 per gallon, right, 45 gwei, then they're like, well, we're not going to sell you gas because, right now we're charging $77 per gallon of gas, right? And so you're just like, okay, cool, whatever. I'm going to wait. This is like if you could leave your car at the, gas station and just say, you know what, fill up my gas tank. I'm going to pre-authorize my credit card, right? Fill up my gas tank when gas falls to $4.50 per gallon. And then I'm going to automatically just like drive this thing, right? It's like if you could like, I don't know, fall asleep in your Tesla, and your Tesla would like auto self-drive to New York. And you're like, just drive to the, I don't know, charging station, and like when the price per kilowatt, whatever, like per gallon of gas, imagine your Tesla runs on gasoline. The analogy falls apart very quickly here. But, imagine you could just go in your self-driving car, go to a gas station, fall asleep in there, and just be like, you know what, when gas hits the price that I want to pay per gallon of gas, when the price is like $4.50, automatically fill up my tank and then start driving. That is what you can basically do in Ethereum. And right now we can see it actually fell to 45, but sadly I was at 45, and so it didn't fall quite so low, but maybe it'll go through in a few minutes. But you can see the price of gas changes so quickly, right? It went from $7.5 to $7 to $5.1 to 41 gwei. Okay, so now it's going to go through. And so you see I saved a ton of money, right? Because if I were willing to pay, 80 gwei or something like that, it was just going to go through when the price per gallon of gas was like $7, right? But now that I said I'm only willing to pay 45 gwei, now it's going to go through at just 45 gwei or less, right? And so that is what saves me a lot of money when you're doing these transactions. And so I'll show you a little trick of how you can see if you're not in a rush, right? If you don't care when you start this trip, right? You don't need to buy this thing immediately. And there are two things here. One, with these things, if you're buying the cheapest one, you may actually want to buy it fairly quickly, because the other thing that can happen is there's only one of each of these, right? And so if you do wait too long, someone else might buy the one that you're looking for. And when that happens, your transaction is going to fail because you can't buy it because someone else already bought it, right? And so that's the one thing that you want to be careful of, is don't wait too long if you're buying like one of the lowest price ones, because everyone's trying to buy the lowest price ones, right? But if you're buying something that's like, up here a little bit, right? You found something that you like, and this one's like 0.99 or something like that, chances are no one's going to buy that so quickly, right? So if you're buying something a little bit more rare, something a little bit more special than the floor, what you can do is just say, I'm going to take my time, right? I'm just going to wait for a day. I have a day to like get this transaction go through. I'm not in a rush, right? And so as long as gas falls in a day to lower than the price I'm willing to pay, then that's good. I'm happy, right? And so at that point, your transaction will go through. And right here we can see the lowest gas has been today is actually 28 gwei. And so if I were patient enough, I could pay even half of what I'm paying now to make this transaction go through, which is a lot of money, right? This transaction costs like $62, right? It's like actually a tank of gas, right? To just buy this one NFT. If you just wait a little bit, if you're willing to wait for the night when everyone's asleep and no one's making transactions, the gas price changes based on kind of the congestion network, right? How many other people are trying to do transactions at the same time. If you're just willing to wait for this to go over overnight, then you're good. It's going to go through for much, much cheaper. Just like buying gas on the weekday is cheaper than buying gas on the weekend, right? All those concepts. So, over time, eventually gas will fall to low enough that this transaction will go through, and then we would be good to go, and I would get this curious Addy. I'm going to show you one last thing here. Let's say you get like really antsy, you put gas like way too low, right? Like, the lowest for last night was like, 28 Gwei, right? And so you're just like, okay, I'm going to set it to 30 Gwei. But then, maybe the day's busier, right? The past doesn't perfectly predict the future. I'd say, a safe minimum is like 35 Gwei right now, but that could change by the time you're literally watching this like a day later. So just go to etherscan.io/gas tracker and then go to historical gas oracle prices tab. Hover over and then see what the average minimum gas price has been over the last like week, right? And then like do a little bit higher than the average over the last week, right? And so here you can see the highest minimum price was like 35 Gwei or 33 Gwei. And so setting it to 35 Gwei as your max fee is fairly safe. You're going to know that over a 24-hour period of time, it's probably going to go through. But let's say you get really antsy. You're like, oh crap, I bought one of the like, lowest ones here. It's not going through. I really need this to go through faster, right? Or you're recording a video and you're like, oh man, I can't actually demonstrate this because my transaction isn't going through. Don't worry. Click the Metamask Chrome extension again. Click speed up here. And then you can make your gas fee a little bit higher. We can set this to 65 Gwei and it's probably going to go through. I'm going to set it to 60 just because I'm really cheap. And then, go ahead and actually, the one thing that you're going to have to change here is you're going to have to increase the max priority fee as well. So we're going to go here and just do that. And then cool, awesome. Now we can see that this has been sped up. And so if we go to the block explorer, we'll see that this has a duplicate transaction with the same account nodes. We'll explain all that in detail. Long story short, this just means that I sped up the existing transaction. I replaced the transaction that I was doing before. And I said, hey, wait, sorry, I actually want to pay more in gas, right? It's not going through in time. So now we can see I just said I was willing to pay 60 Gwei in gas rather than 45, and it just went through like instantly, right? It went through within 8 seconds actually, because that's what the going price of gas was. And you can see, that's exactly what I paid, 60 Gwei in gas. Perfect, awesome. And then now if I go back here and I take a quick look at the Addy that I was going to buy, it says owned by you. You got the Addy, all is well. Cool, awesome. So hopefully that gives you an idea of the kinds of things that we're going to cover in this course, and also how to actually go ahead and buy a Curious Addy yourself so that you can get free access to the course. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, by the way, we partnered with Nas Academy to create the most comprehensive course on NFTs ever in the history of ever. Literally, it is 30 hours of raw content that we have made to kind of walk through everything that it's taken us months of full-time being in the space, buying over 7 figures of NFTs, selling over 7 figures of NFTs in our Curious Addies collection to people, to be able to learn this knowledge, working with some of the biggest people in the space as our advisors, people like Alchemy, who run a billion-dollar company in the space, people like Zeneca33, one of the most well-known NFT kind of experts in the space. Working with all these people to get this knowledge, we've made a course partnering with Nas Daily to just make the highest production value kind of content that we can give you. If you take this course, you're going to go through it with a cohort of other people who are all going to be learning alongside you. And you can all go ahead actually and join a Discord channel that we set up for you just at discord.com/invite/CATC. And so if you go over to Twitter, you can see this. Just go follow us at Curious Addies over here, and you can click discord.gg/CATC. That's our Discord server. Most things in the NFT world happen on Twitter and Discord. So if you want to follow along, you go here. And then once you go into here, you're able to actually, let's see. Let's see what we got going on here. Cool. If you go into the Curious Addies Trading Club server, and you go into, you have to verify actually first. Do a CAPTCHA that protects you from scammers. There are a lot of scammers in Discord. So the first thing, by the way, if you do come in here, is go to privacy settings and disallow direct messages from server members. People will try to scam you left and right in this space. So anyway, once you're in here, what you want to look for is the community Nas Academy thing. Perfect. Right here. Great. And so if you're in here, you can just join everyone else who's going through the Nas Academy course. We're going to give you a special role. And we have thousands of people in here, right? You can see we've got 2.32 thousand people, 2,300 people online right now who will just go ahead and kind of help you with everything that you need to know. If you have any questions that aren't covered in the course, we will make sure we answer every single question that you have, right? And in fact, if there's a very common question that someone has that hasn't been answered in the content that we cover in this course, we want to make sure that we actually do record the video to actually kind of explain you everything that you want to know about the concept that we haven't covered. And so if you want to take this course, there are two ways you can do it. You can get this course right now for a discount on top of this price. Normally, it's going to be $4.99 in the future. Right now, $2.49. And then if you use the discount code CuriousAddies, that'll drop it down to $1.99. Or you can buy yourself a Curious Addy, which is $300 right now, and get access to the course for free with that Curious Addy, and also be part of our community in the long run. And we have a lot of things that we're coming out with, right? This is not the main focus of the Curious Addies community. The real benefit of the getting an NFT is that you have access to the exclusive kind of community of everyone else who has a Curious Addy. And then on top of that, we're building a entire educational game which will teach you through every single step of how to master NFTs, crypto, Web3, and also actually earn money while you do so, right? We're building things like a virtual trading platform where you can trade crypto and NFTs completely for free and not have to pay any money, because the best way to learn how to work with NFTs or crypto is to actually, buy NFTs and crypto, right? But chances are you're going to lose money when you start out, when you don't know what you're doing. I lost a ton of money when I started out. I bought $10,000 of Bitcoin back in day in 2013. Immediately lost $8,000 of that, right? And so it's expensive to get started. And so we wanted to create a way where you could learn all the skills and get this hard-earned knowledge for free in a risk-free environment where you're doing exactly the same things that you would do in real life, but just not risking that money. So that when you actually are ready, when you've proven that you can make money in this virtual environment, you're good to go, and you can just translate that directly into making money with your real money, right? So you don't have to risk any money. There are a lot of those things, and then there's a concept called play to earn, where as you kind of go ahead and do that, we're actually going to reward you with real money through the learning that you do, and also the games that you play. And as you get better at trading, right, we'll have competitions where we can reward you for doing well in those, and also we'll reward you for teaching other people, right? And then so this is kind of this whole dynamic ecosystem where as you teach your skills to other people, you'll get rewarded by us, and as you learn yourself, you'll get rewarded. And so those are kind of the other utilities, the other value adds of having a Curious Addy NFT, and why we're ultimately creating this entire ecosystem around NFTs. We're going to explain a lot more about NFTs and why you might want to get them, all the different kinds of NFTs and the different kind of value adds that NFTs can give you. But that hopefully was it's probably somewhat overwhelming, but hopefully helpful, informative introduction to how to first buy a Curious Addy NFT or any other NFT on the secondary market, past when it was originally offered for sale on the website, right, Curious Addies. And also, give you a teaser of the things that we cover, both in our Curious Addies community and in the Nas Academy course that you might want to take if you want to master NFTs in 7 days. Cool. Awesome. Thanks so much for listening, and I will hopefully see you in Curious Addies and in Nas Academy's course.